Alright, hi, we're going to be reading Prepare Unit Railroad Load Plans, TR 2028, Edition A, Training Directorate, United States Army Combined Arms Support Commands, Fort Lee, Virginia, 230-801, 1801, 1809, sorry, 6 credit hours, edition, January 1996. Table of Contents, Lesson 1, Preparing Unit Movement Plans, identifying, Lesson 2, Identifying Rail Regulatory Requirements, Lesson 3, Preparing Unit Rail Move, Lesson 4, Identifying Railway Car Loading Procedures, Lesson 5, Computing Railway Car Requirements, Lesson 6, Determining Blocking, Bracing, and Tie-Down Requirements, Lesson 7, Preparing Preparing a Unit Rail Load Plan, Lesson 8, Conducting Rail Movement and Theater Operations, Appendix A, Sample Unit Movement Plan. Appendix B, Tie-Down Materials Rules. Appendix C, Element Reference Table of the AUEL Summary. Appendix C, Tip and Comment Mistakes. MT, MCT, PAM 5519. This page is intentionally left blank. Grading certification. Lesson 1, Preparing Unit Movement Plans. Lesson 1 Overview, the description. The lesson helps the student understand successfully meet the challenges in planning of the unit railway movement. The unit movement office does not have the face to these challenges alone. He can reduce his burden and understand the complexity of the task. He must also know whom he can turn to for assistance in obtaining planning input and other forms of support. Enabling Learning Objective, ELO. The enabling learning objective of this lesson is to identify the basic requirements performing the unit movement, including the DAPAM or the DA Form 5748R. Condition given the self-study environment of the materials provided in the sub-course standard in accordance with the materials provided in the sub-course next test and reference cited below. References: FORSCOM, Army National Guard 55-1, Transportation Travel Unit Movement Plan, dated October 1st, 1993. FORSCOM, Regulation 55-2, Unit Movement Data Reporting System Administration, January 1985. Field Manual 5565, Strategic Deployment of Surface Transportation, date October 1995. Field Manual 117, Mobilization Deployment, Deployment, Demobilization Technical Bulletin 5546-1, Standard Characteristics of Transportation, Military Vehicles, and Outsized Overweight Equipment. 1-1 Lesson Review. Continued lesson content. These topics include the 1-2 Planning Unit Movements. 1-3 Identifying what needs to be moved. 1-4 Identifying cargo cargo. 1-5 Developing Packaging List. 1-6 Identifying the BBT requirements. 1-7 Maintaining UMD. Lesson 8. 1-8 Lesson Summary. Lesson 9 Practice Exercise. 1-10 Lesson Practice Answer Key and Feedback. Alright, 1-2 Planning Unit Movements. Introduction. During a unit move, all in all missions, the unit commander and responsible accountable for the use of what his unit does. But when planning the unit movements, commanders rely heavily on their unit movement officers, or UMOs. For successful detailed planning coordination, unit movements must be effective and efficient. So unit movement planning. The unit movement planning is collectively analyzing and coordinating with the documentation, information, and data required to conduct the unit movement. The unit movement plans are required for the mobilization, deployment, redeployment, and demobilization. Unit movement. The Appendix A of the subcourse contains a sample unit movement and extracted with the FORSCOM Army National Guard Regulation 55-1. The reserve components must develop the 2 movement plans. One of the movement plans is the HS from the mobilization station, or MS. Second plan for the movement from the mobilization station of the to the port of embarkment, POE. There are 3 characteristics of unit movement plan. Provide specific responsibilities, functions, details for each of the department of the unit. Deployment, original reception, and theater operation contains a series of connected steps that can be carried out simultaneously in succession, resulting with the pragmatic movement of the unit from one location to another. Under Standard 5, paragraph orders under the OPORD format. Unit railway movements. The unit movement of the railway is the most common method of transportation equipment from the mobilization station and the port of embarkment. The equipment is called not to accompany troops, or the NTAT, consisting the bulk of the unit's equipment. These are procedures for the developing unit rail movement plan. Alright, you 1-2 planning units movements continued. Unit rail movement plans continued. Step 1: identify the equipment supplies to be moved, obtaining the list of table organization equipment, modified table, the organization equipment, AirTow or MTow, other assigned mission essential equipment. The listing must include all the deployment equipment. 2. Identify hazard-sensitive classified items, special packaging, labeling, segregation, placards for movements. Identify your bulk cargo requirements, developing packing, listing containers, including lists of all the vehicles containing cargo. 4. Develop load plans and placing unit equipment on the railway cars. Load planning is considered with the maximum use of each of the vehicles' cargo compartment capacity consistent with the appropriate shipping configuration. 11. Step 5. Identify the blocking, bracing, packing, crating, tie downs, or BBPCT. Blocking, bracing, packing, crating, tie down material needed to properly protect the secure and equipment from the equipment on the railway cars. Update automated equipment list AUEL provided with the ForceCom Forces Command with the ForceCom provided with the routine updates for the unit movement data UMD as the signified changes occur. 1-3. Identifying what needs to be moved. The first step of planning the unit movement is determining the items to be moved. The unit movement officer must identify these items for the unit move operations. Personal equipment, supplies, and baggage. Movement unit. The requirement for the moving personnel are based on the tow and MTow required columns. You consider the personal movement of the basic function. Your unit will normally move in 3 elements. Advance party consists with a few members of the unit, departs through the main body, the advance party for the HS, the mobile stations, and the point of embarkment for the arrival of the main body. Main body carries the bulk and personal equipment. The rear detachments provide cargo security. Moving up unit equipment. The planning of the movement of the unit equipment. The unit movement officer considers all tow and MTow all other missions. Essential equipment. The unit movement officer ensures that the unit has listing all the deployment unit equipment. Listing must include the identification of all outsized, oversized, and overweight hazardous equipment for the cargo. The movement unit supplies. Unit movement officer responsibility for planning the movement of the unit supplies solely to the unit base is load of supplies. This means the units are only plan to move the supplies initially required within the theater to sustain Operation ForceCom. Army National Guard 55-1 provides a detailed list of basic loading supplies planning requirements for the unit movement officer. The moving of the unit baggage. The unit movement officer must also plan the moving of the unit baggage. The baggage consists of the individual soldier, equipment, gear, and authorized personnel items. And normally, each soldier has the 2 duffel bags, an A bag and a B bag. The A bag contains the uniforms, authorized clothing, and personal items. The B bag contains the soldier's TA-50 gear with when not worn the soldier during the movement. Identify categories and equipment. During the process of identifying what needs to be moved, the unit movement officer must also identify categories of equipment and movement. The unit movement officer must identify the needs to accompany the troops in the TATE en route. There are 3 categories of soldier equipment. Yellow tat, Yellow tat equipment that must be accessible en route with the categories included bag and individual weapons, unit property. Red tag equipment that must be available to the unit prior to the arrival of the theater. The red tat equipment includes sensitive cargo requiring special security measures, handling at the point of embarkment prior cargo, which must be loaded last and unloaded first. Bulk of the unit equipment is categorized by the NAT. The equipment that normally travels in the VIVA, the surface of transportation, railway cars, or convoys, and not required for the unit prior to the arrival of the theater. Examples of the NAT equipment are in tanks, utility trucks, and containers. 1-4. Identifying hazard cargoes. All hazard cargoes must be prepared and labeled according to appropriate regulations. The unit movement officer must identify the hazardous cargo requirements earlier with the inclusion that you move the plan so that the unit is prepared, and errors in the package labeling shipping the hazard material may affect the timelines of the unit movement. The lessons provided with only the overview of the requirements of shipping hazard cargo using railway cars. Consult with the Title 49 Code Federal Regulations, Title 49 Part 100 and 177 through 100-177 for the detailed railway shipping requirements. Movement and during the mobilization. During mobilization movement, the reserve components, the RC, will not move ammunition from the HS or to the mobilization station. However, the reserve components will move the ammunition basic load ABL to the mobile station or to the ASPO. A point of S part of embarkment. The procedures and guidelines shipping hazardous materials consult the CFR Part 100 and 177 for detailed shipping requirements. Documented hazardous materials. Step 1. Determine the proper shipping name and identification number listed with the hazard table in Title 40 CFR 49. Determine the class of the hazard material found with the Title 40 CFR 49 and ZIM. Ensure the railway transportation appropriate for the shipment of the packaging quantity and the per package labeling separation complies with the railway requirements. Step 4. Select and apply the proper labels. Note that the labels are required and for fuel in the vehicle fuel tanks. Step 5. Determine the select of the proper packaging. Step 6. Prepare packaging lists with the hazard materials packed inside with the container of the vehicles first. Step 7. Determine the proper plaque cards in accordance with the Title 49 CFR. Step 8. Determine the segregation requirements for the hazard materials. Step 9. Ensure special handling codes for the AUEL equipment list. Introduction. All vehicles, containers, and crates to bundles as must display the separate Department of Defense Form 1750 DA Form 5748R showing their complete contents. The DA Form 5748R, DA Form 5748R figures the 1-1 shows the complete contents for the shipping items, the shipment unit numbers from the AUEL. The AUEL, the equipment list, must identify the package. The DA Form 5748 is not required for items not requiring identification such as empty vehicles, nested cans, bandage shovels. Also, the DA Form 5748R is not required for a container already enlisting complete content such as inventory, tool or part list. Do not list classified material on the DA Form 5748R. Preparing DA Form 5748R. Prepare 5 copies of the DA Form 5748R. Retain the copies unit movement folder unit that received the deployment notification. Upon the receipt of the deployment notification, distribute the copies as follows: 1 copy inside the container, 1 copy outside the container with weatherproof cover, 2 copies unit representative at the point of embarkment, 1 copy with the unit movement plan. Completing the DA Form 5748. These are instructions completed with the DA Form 5748R. Block number 1, enter the name of the deploying number. And block number 2, enter the unit identification number, bumper number. And block number 3, enter the transportation control number, the TCN, or the seal number. Complete the DA Form 5748 as continued. The shipping and the blocking list and loading deployment UTIC bumper number page, TCN, seals, date, package loading. CG, length and width, height, cube, empty weight, loaded weight, shipment unit, deployment unit, UHC, bumper and packaging code, contents, type of the package, package quantity, package weight, and package weight. Alright, completing DA Form 5748R continued. Block 4 in general shipping with description unit phrases such as nuclear, biological, chemical, defense equipment, motor maintenance, square parts of the office supplies do not use the terms of miscellaneous, including the line item, the number of the lane, applicable line index number, then enter the dates of the form, comply with the date of the container with the pack when was packed, enter the length of the shipment, enter the width of the shipment, enter the height of the shipment, enter the cube of the shipment, enter the employment weight of the vehicle, the shipping containers, enter the load weight of the vehicle and shipping containers, enter the location of the control balance. 13A, cargo location number, the content sequence, and enter the number of the contents line number from the property book. Highlight all the hazardous material, enter the type of the packaging using accepted abbreviations: BTY for the battery, CYL for cylinder, PC for piece, PT for palletized. Enter the unit with the issue such as 1 each for the non-hazardous. For non-hazardous material, enter the total package weight for the hazardous material, enter weight for each of the package separately, and then enter with the total weight of the package weight. Completed Form DA 5748 and continued for block number 14. Enter the following preparing with the forming and information blocks A through D: name, grade, title, signature. Enter the date the form was prepared with the block E. The content the cargo hazardous cargo. The unit hazardous cargo identifying the official will sign under the hazardous cargo statement. Block 15, sketch and load diagram, the location of each of the items, the brief description of load, including the potential loading problems, instruction, type of the container in the vehicle, all blocking, bracing, packing materials required to secure the cargo with the shipment unit. 16, self-explanatory. 16, introduction. The block bracing and tie down, BBT. Block bracing and tie-down BBT includes the materials to protect the vehicle's equipment and other cargoes from damage to loss or transit. During the block bracing and tie-down requirements, block bracing and tie-down must be calculated with the current Association American Railroad loading rules. If the Association American Railroad proceeds unavailable, there are three sources that determine the block bracing and tie-down materials requirements for the unit's equipment: computerized movement planning status system of the compass report, conceptual railroad load plan, the DA Form 2940R and TM 552200 00112. The compass rail of the blocking bracing materials provide planners with detailed blocking bracing tie-down requirements. The Military Traffic Management Command Transportation Engineering Agency, or MTMCT, complies with the blocking bracing materials based on the upon current Association of Railroads compass or computerized movement planning status system maintains the data. The reports are not produced with the distributed standard basis. The unit may request the reports of the Force Com FCJ4 TRO Fort McPherson GA Georgia 303306,000 compass produced the two reports which list only the bracing materials required for the vehicles listed with the AU Army authorized equipment listing reported in the railway transportation true railway blocking bracing material reports. Detail report figure 1 to the railway blocking bracing material data reports list the blocking bracing materials requirements for the one vehicle, multiply the number of the vehicles times the blocking bracing materials requirements to produce the total requirements for the type of vehicle and land. Summary of the report figure 1 3 the railway blocking bracing materials summary report summarizes the material blocking bracing materials requirement for the unit based on the unit's authorized equipment unit listing. The blocking bracing material is developed only for the vehicles. In the absence of the approved AAR procedures, the estimated bill of materials is complied with the based upon the procedure for the similar vehicle, and if those materials have been developed, the detailed material listed and noted, no data available. Alright, compass by summary continued. This is a railway bracing blocking material detail report continued. Alright, 1-6, the blocking bracing tie down. Concepts of loading continued. Conceptual rail loading plan. Forscom Form 285R road plan figure 1-4 provides the conceptual rail load plan loading vehicles contained on the railway card. The form shows that the cargo is loaded on a specific railway car. The forms identify the blocking bracing tie down materials for the screwing the cargo on the railway car. The form must be kept on the file part of the unit railroad movement plan. It must be revised, tested whenever the unit plan load plans change. The load cars must also allow the easy checking with the cargo and terminals from the lost damaged equipment. Technical Manual 55-2200-01-12. The Technical Manual 55-2200-001-12. The Technical Transportation Guidance Application blocking bracing tie-down materials of the railway transportation reference the blocking bracing information for any military equipment moving the rail using the Technical Manual 55-2200-001-12. When the compass blocking bracing material reports conceptual rail load plans fail to supply the appropriate blocking bracing tie-down data, the Technical Manual 55-2200-001-12 is crucial to all aspects of unit railway loading plant process. Figure 1-5 is an extra for the table page of the TM 55-2200-000-12. This includes the items identifying the type of the cargo depicted with the type of the railway car which is loaded to illustrate the cargo, including the letters point of the location of the securing blocking, description of the blocking bracing tie-down material for the cargo, identifying the number of each for the cargo as a whole. Note the additional annotations meet the requirement setting of all the blocking bracing materials. When listing of blocking bracing materials for any of the vehicle, use the Technical Manual 55-2200-001-12 to find the page with reference to the specific vehicle, then write down the material mentioned in the description. Technical Manual 55-2200-001-12 continued. This is your Forscom D Form 2855R Railway load front and load plan front. This is the back. Alright, T-Team 55-2200-001-12 continued. A 4-6 wheel truck, single or double wheels, flat cars with wooden floors. The extracted M from the Technical Manual TM 55-2200-001-12 shows the this side. See the sketch is wire rope thimble, sketch 1, and 1-7 maintaining the UMD. unit mobile data. You, the Army uses unit mobile data to plan and execute movement of the Army units. As a result, the unit movement data must be maintained current and accurate at all times. Unit movement data is automated input with the compass using the Transportation Coordinated Automated Command Control Information System, the TCACCIS. The compass supports planning, strategic mobility, analysis, movement, execution, command with the control, mobilization, deployment purposes. The accurate unit movement data reporting is essential as most reflective of the unit plan actual movement requirements. There are four basic types of the unit movement data by units. Mobilization unit movement data, or MOB UMD. The MOB UMD is reported from the RC. This report reflects the units, all units as assessed for the unit of the HS alternative sites, storage sites, the mobilization stations, equipment located at the mobilization stations. Mobilization unit movement data reflects what is moving in the configuration. Preparation for overseas movement of the unit movement data, or preparation overseas movement. Preparation overseas movement unit movement data reflects movement requirements from deployment. Only depicts the equipment of the unit and will deploy shipping configuration. A point of overseas movement of the unit movement data report is required for each of the deployable activity components, or ACs. Each activity activated by the mobile RC unit. Tailored UMD unit mobile data. Tailored unit mobilization data reflects all unit SS moving from the unit home of the location to an area objective and many bases for any special purposes. Exercise contingency include joint training exercise, command exercise, sea emergency deployment readiness exercise, special movement requirements such as disaster relief and disturbance. Unit movement data reports continue the deployment of the unit movement data. The DEP UMD reflects in all unit equipment moving the support installation SI or the mobile station. Mobilization station by all applicable modes of the transportation. The deployment unit movement data includes a personal method of conveyance, type of the unit movement data. There are two types of unit movement data reports. Type of the unit movement submission to the FORSCOM, initial reports and updated reports. Initial unit movement data, initial reports during the unit first submission to the FORSCOM. Master unit movement data must be contained with the compass, and prior to submitting the initial report, the submitting the unit movement coordinated may request an additional unit UIC to the database. Updating unit movement data reports. The unit filing updated unit movement data reports whenever the significant change in the unit transportation requirement. Significant transportation change is defined an increase or decrease movement of the requirements resulting in addition with the subtraction of one or more railway cars, semi-trailers, truck, passenger conveniences. Requires allocation of more than less than aircraft, the ship deck space, although the knowledge of the authorized user equipment listing is necessary to successfully maintain the report of the unit movement data. Alright, the AUEL report is primarily documented with the unit transportation movement data and plan. The product of the compass reflects the unit movement data report. For the FORSCOM, the authorized user equipment list is most commonly used in the movement data report. There are two types of authorized user equipment list reports. Authorized user equipment list report, unit movement data detail, and unit movement data summary. Appendix B of the subcourse contains publication extract from the FORSCOM Regulation 55.2 identifying the key data elements for the authorized user equipment list, reporting the unit movement data detail in the unit movement equipment list report UMD summary. The authorized equipment listing report, the unit movement data figure 1.6 shows the example of the authorized user equipment list report. Unit movement data detail. The detailed listing reflects the individual piece of the unit equipment, its dimension, characteristics, method of transportation, square footage. The authorized user equipment listing report, the unit movement data figure 1.7 example of the authorized user equipment listing, the unit movement data summary. The summary reports reflects detailed information, mode of transportation, equipment, tonnage, squares, mode of movement requirements. Unit movement data reporting. The format of the unit movement data reports meets specific needs for the planning of the execution movement of deployments, complying with the automated data processing electronic transmission requirements of FORSCOM Form 900R series worksheets are approved by the form of the unit movement data reporting. The format of the reporting unit movement data must be strictly followed. The FORSCOM Form 900R series, the record type of the form number, the brief description. Continued on the next page. The unit movement data reporting format, record type A, title, head, strength, and data, form number 900R. Description identifies the reporting unit's personal strengths and indications of the add and changing submission updates on the unit data of the FORSCOM database. Unit data reporting format continued. Report detail. Report continued sample. Alright, your unit report formatting D. Vehicle worksheet number form number 901R reports the vehicle and shipping configuration. E. Vehicle loading data worksheet number 902R reports cargo loaded assigned to the specific vehicles contained in the worksheet requirement for all the vehicles, containers, cargo, airing cargo, and they must be at least one or E record and for each D record and with the load. Record type F is the special handling cargo sheet 90R 903R. The reports the cargo palletized containers, utilized, graded, and banded together, security declassified. Note loaded on the vehicle. G loaded data worksheet. The form TBD reports the cargo loading assigned specific container form that is required to all containers carrying cargo. There must be at least one G record for each F record container with the load. J. Railway truck busing requirement form worksheet, form 904R series. Report the transportation officer estimated transportation equipment from the moving of the unit origin, the HSS to the store to the point of embarkment and mobilization station. H. Remarks data sheet, the 955R provides an explanation, clarification, additional information on the data reported. Unit movement data reporting plan continued. Record type H0001. Contingency standing route order, or CSRO. Form number 900FR provides a contingency standing route order complete with this form. The contingency standing route is desired. H002, the contingency standing route order, form 900I5R provides explanation, clarification, additional information pertaining to the data information. B, the deployment reporting record, or the TBD. The report's deployment of departure for the form is required, but the deployment may be required for the report X departures of the TC-ACCIS only method of reporting this record. Alright, using the FORSCOM forms, the use of the rule intent entering the damn FORSCOM form, the 900RC worksheet. Alpha letter I and O are not authorized data characters in the UIC. The alpha letter O can only be used in the description portion of E, F, and G and H records types. Alright, reporting unit movement data, unit mobilization data, updates and manage the number of the armies in continental United States or CON-USA geographical area. Updates must be received with the FORSCOM in the machine readable format no later than the first working date of the form for the schedule unit month. The unit having the unit mobilization data changes must submit no change report and submitting the units. The UIC of the type of the data code, TDC, the new submission data, unit transportation code, information from the header or the leader. Unit participation and exercise will not submit no change reports. As the minimum unit movement data, mobilization data, reporting will in accordance with this schedule. Alright, the CON-USA Geographical Region 1, AC reports October, U.S. Army reports February, National Guard reports July 1, Congressional CON-USA Geographical Region 1, MW July. For the AC reports, U.S. Army Reserve December, National Guards reports May, Congressional U.S. Geographical Region 2, September. AC reports April, U.S. Army Reserve reports March, National Guard reports Congressional Geographic Region 5. AC reports July, U.S. Army Reserve reports November, National Guard reports April. CONUS Geographical Region AC reports April, U.S. Army Reserve points January, National Guard reports June. Lesson 8 Summary. The lesson briefly describes the procedure preparing the unit loads, and every unit must prepare a plan for the movement of the unit equipment personnel. During the lesson, we discussed the importance of the unit movement plan, characteristic unit movement plan, identifying during the unit movement of operations, consider the movement of the hazardous cargo preparation procedure of the DA Form 5748R, the blocking, bracing, tie-down requirements for transportation, the unit mobilization data reports, and maintenance procedures. Then we're going to skip the questions and the answers and come up on Chapter 2. This page is intentionally left blank Chapter 2, identifying railway regulatory requirements.